Welcome to another episode of Foster's Bees. So if you recall the previous episode, I thought that these scratches on the top of my hive were probably due to a bear. We do not have a known bear in the area, but upon talking with another local beekeeper, he seemed to indicate that these scratches looked a lot like what some of his vehicles looked like when they were left unattended with his horses. So I'm wondering whether this was in fact just our horses that did this, like I originally speculated. I would have expected that there would have been more damage to the hive as well if this was bees. So right now I'm going to say that this was due to horses. So we'll see what this inspection looks like here. I came out to the hive midweek to check on the bees, but primarily to do a little bit of frame management, as a recommendation was made by an experienced beekeeper on bee source forums. I took one of the partially drawn out frames and moved it from this side over onto this side here, in an effort to encourage the bees to move over this way in their honeycomb production, and to try get them to more completely draw out the two frames on this side that they were ignoring. So let's see how they did. Let's see if these efforts paid off. Up to this point, I've been able to lift the cover on these without the use of a hive tool, but each time I come out it seems to be stuck down just a little bit more. So we'll see. I am making some progress here. There. In case you cannot tell, we've got a little more wind again today, and I've taken some steps to try to get my smoker working a little better. So far, those steps seem to be paying off. Let's take a look. So just looking initially here, this was the frame that I put in, and I can see there is still some honeycomb on both sides here. It hasn't all melted off. I wasn't expecting it to. But I can see there's still quite a few bees along this piece of honeycomb. So that's encouraging to see that they were actually still there. So let's see. Start on this side again. Not much more honeycomb here, if any. Actually, this was one of the frames that wasn't being drawn, I think. I could be wrong about that. I'd have to review my video from before. Before I get too far with this one, let me just check to make sure the queen isn't on here. I'm not seeing her right off the bat. And I don't see her on this side. Looks like a lot of brood with some honey in the corners. And this frame feels quite a bit heavier than it did a week ago. Again, a nice frame full of brood, and there's some packed pollen and honey in places as well. More brood. You can see this apparent hole right there. I believe that corresponds to one of the queen cups that's on the next frame. And that queen cup looks empty. Still not seeing the queen, but there's definitely brood here. Now this up here in the left corner is capped honey. There, this frame is almost entirely capped honey. Here is a pretty large looking bee, and it's entirely black. On one of my previous videos I'd seen something similar to that. Once again they've ignored this side here. In this frame they have not even started drawing out. This was one they had started drawing out that I had swapped over into this position. A little bit of brood on that side, it appears. Some capped honey in the corner. I haven't seen my queen. I'm thinking I'll take this frame and move it one over. Move this frame up. put this blank frame in its place. And hopefully that will encourage them to start drawing these ones out. Looks like I've got quite a bit of ant activity on the ground here. I'm going to have to do something about that. Probably get some cinnamon and try sprinkle some cinnamon on the ground here. See if I can quickly spot my queen. See if she's on this one. There she is. Right at the top, right there. Trying to get her back in the hive before. What did we learn today? Well, number one, I need to get better at spotting my queen. I missed her right off of the bat on the very first frame and left her hanging outside of the hive here on the frame, which was not good. The bees seem to have drawn out this frame here, which I believe was the one that I brought over from the other side. So we'll go ahead and we swapped these two frames here, and we'll see if they start drawing this frame out a little bit more. Pretty soon it's going to be time to super up, meaning putting a new box on top. The box I'll be putting on top, I'm planning to have it I'm planning to go foundationless for that, in the hope that these bees have regressed and they will hopefully have drawn out 4.9 millimeter comb instead of the 5.4, which is standard for beekeeping here. So I'm debating whether I should do that today or whether I should give it another week. Judging by how many of the frames are drawn out so completely, I wonder if I should do it today, but at the same time I fear that if I were to do it today, that they would start drawing comb on the foundationless frames and ignore the one comb or one frame, sorry, that they haven't started drawing on yet. They still have some room to draw out more honeycomb, and it looks like we have quite a bit of brood that's about to hatch, so it probably won't be very long. I'm thinking what I'll do is give them another week, and then I will see how they're doing, and probably at that time we'll need to put on another box of frames. thank you for joining me. Click like and subscribe if you want to be notified of any future upcoming episodes. And join me as we continue in this journey.